We are joined by the champ himself, Mr. Leigh Wood. Welcome, champ.
The lethal one, the curl king. Listen, we're in.
Straight away.
Yeah, you got to break the ice, heavy. Listen, thank you so much for coming to do this with us. Really, really appreciate it. Like, I know you're in camp. I know this means a lot. For us, it means literally nothing for you, and you're giving up your time. Big respect. Thank you so much. Support for this podcast is brought to us, but as always, by xbrain.co.uk. Enter promo code Fighting Words to save 20% off your order. And shout out Market Squawk, because sometimes you pay our invoices for advertising, powered by livesquawk.co.uk for all of your low latency financial news needs.
You can see why I would have tripped up on that, can't you?
So yeah, here we are. Leigh, welcome. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Fortunately, it's not that far from Harlow, is it?
Nah, it's not too far at all. Basically based down here from my camp, so
yeah,
just round the corner. You know what I hear in my gym all the time. You know, since the Conlan fight.
Yeah.
You know the presser in Ireland. It's a perm. I swear, I hear it about 20 times a day from the lads. It's funny, innit?
Yeah, that's power. Are you down there most of the time now then? So you only go up on the weekends?
Yeah, I go up most weekends, but when I'm in camp, when it gets to like below 5-6 weeks to the fight, then I'm pretty much here. So yeah, better time away from my kids. Sometimes my friends bring them down to see me and that, but yeah, it's mainly just down here.
Oh, nice.
Chilling at weekends, resting, grafting.
Yeah. So
all for the good cause.
I don't want to bring up negative stuff, right? But we have to talk about the previous fight in positive ways. Right, because from my perspective, you were piecing him. Like when the second, like there was from purely open talk as a fan, you came out, you got a little bit aggy, and then this thing from a cave in Mexico somewhere landed something, and it felt like, what was that? And then you settled, and you had him on the end. And I at the point where things happen, I thought that you were in a very commanding lead and you had it on top. But boxing is boxing, right?
Yeah, mate. That's kind of what happened, you know. We always knew he's quite dangerous and reckless early, the first 3 rounds. You know, I think so many of his previous fights, 5 or 6 or whatever, the first 3 rounds, they're not gone out the first 3 or 4. So, you know, he likes to let his hands go.
Yeah.
He likes to put them together, especially if he lands something. He'll try to build off it straight away. So, yeah, the first 2 was a bit messy. And then I got into my groove, started doing what I practiced, sticking to the plan. Everything was going quite well. In fact, too well, because then I started landing my shots, setting up big shots, and then I started to go away from what built them big shots and started looking for just the big shots. And I was holding my feet a little too long, and I got caught, didn't I? got caught with a big shot. It happens.
There's getting caught, but then there's getting caught. But he is that. Right, and I know it's really easy and reductive as a fan to say that's all he has, because he's obviously, it is what it is. You got caught. Moving forward, are we expecting, like, because in my heart of hearts, I want an absolute snoozer in the rematch. I want jab, hold, throw him around, give him the old little elbow in the eyeball. I want, like, boredom.
You know, the first fight, I probably got a little bit bored at times. You know, there's times when he tries to lure you to sleep. By that I mean he'll do not a lot. He'll edge back, not looking threatening, and then men are thinking, nothing's happening. I'm gonna make something happen because I'm getting a bit bored here.
Yeah.
And they're the times where he'll try to trick you and try and make you make a mistake.
Yeah.
I didn't do that, but on the same breath, you know, I started landing big shots. Rounds 5, round 6, I really started to put him in, and then I thought, he's breathing heavy. I've started to I'm gonna stay there a little bit more because I was fainting and moving out, making a miss, and I thought, you know what?
He's looking wicked.
It's tiring, so I'm gonna stay there and put some big shots in myself. And in the same hand, in the same breath, you know, I stayed there too long and swapped shots with him. But you know, I've made a lot of adjustments to this fight. I know what I need to do. He knows he can't come out and bully me.
No.
So yeah, there's a few adjustments been made. I'm looking forward to it. I can do a better job than what I did the first time. Obviously, we've got the evidence and the footage from the first fight, what I was doing right and what I need to work on. And you can always improve on a performance. And there's so many things that I'm going to do a lot better second time out.
You excited for it? Because it's a big rematch.
I'm excited, and I want to go and put it right. You know, like I said, I chose that fight in the first place. I didn't need to, but I did because I believed I can beat him, and I still believe I'm going to beat him.
I think you're going to beat him. Yeah. I think it's a near certainty, right? I also like that all of his previous opponents, I mean, we saw what he done with Warrington. you're his boy. Gave you the hat, gave you the stuff. A lot of respect on his part. I don't know what he was like behind the scenes, but at least on camera, he seemed very respectful towards you.
He
But
was,
Warren,
yeah.
he fucking hates it, doesn't he?
No, he was very respectful, and even when we came face to face at the Joshua fight,
Yeah.
he came straight over and said, I was a great champion. Thanks for giving me the opportunity. And it's just boxing. It's nice to be like that, but at the same time, I'm coming to take his head off and I'm coming to get my belt back. We're
He's just got it on-
respectful
he's
for,
borrowed
respectful after, but come to get it done, and I come to get done what I should have done the first time.
From like your career path now, like it's amazing to see how far you've come. It's amazing to. I've said this to you before. It's amazing to see you at world level, main eventing. Like, because let's be honest, how long? Like, this must feel like this was never on the cards for you at one point. Like,
Yeah, you kind of. I see loads of videos now, especially nowadays. Like motivational videos and like law of attraction, and like you try and
you're manifesting.
manifesting and visualizing. Like,
Dude,
I would never.
You got pyramids behind you and a salt lamp. You know what I mean?
I never really did that, but in my head, I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes, like, I got to that point in Sheffield where I was like approaching 30, or I think I was 30. I was 30. I might even been nearly 31. Not done anything in my career. Not even won a good title. I won an area title, but not won a decent title. Which for me, like, if I'd not won at least a British, I'd have failed miserably. Yeah. And that was my minimum. My British title is my minimum in my career. I said I'm not walking away from the sport until at least win that British title. So I was nearly 30, and in my head I was thinking, right, my management was the big issue at the time. I'm not getting fights.
Yeah.
So in my head I used to think, I'm nearly 30, but like, I could, to get a little break, I could win that British, and I could win the Commonwealth, and I could win this, and I'd get a shot world title. I could go on an unbelievable run that no one's ever done before. Even though I've all that bad luck first, I could have gone on a crazy run and do it all in a few years. And you just think you could. Like, you kind of like half, I don't know, it's not manifest, it's like half hoping that you get the chances. And
it's like making the chance in your own head.
Like,
And
I never thought they would come. I thought, well, they could, just keep grafting because they could, but you never think they're going to. And then, bang.
But
that's almost that story of like,
what changed? The thing that changes, I left the England gym.
Yeah.
I signed with Dave Caldwell.
Yeah.
And I've obviously got the opportunity, thanks to Jordan Gill as well, vacated the Commonwealth. Then I had that 2019, which was a massive improvement for the past 10 years. So I got the shots.
Yeah.
And then the golden contract came about, and then COVID hit, and I kept training through COVID because I had a bit of taste of success then. I won the Commonwealth, I won the WUP, and I had some good wins, stopping all of them. And then COVID hit after the Dickens fight, and it's like, and in my head I was like, right, I'm 31.
Yep.
I ain't got time to sit around and wait, and then the fight comes and train. I'm just gonna keep improving, keep training. I remember I was going to like basketball courts doing bleep tests with my mate, and he was taking me on pads in like warehouses, and I was just training, and then get to the end of the year, and the British title came up, and I had no trainer at the time, and Leo hooked me up with Ben, and I was a bit skeptical at first, and but I was already fit when I went down there. I remember I was already training, and Dave Stash put me on a treadmill. It's like a max. I can't remember what it's called. It's like your max test, basically.
Yeah, the VO2 max.
VO2 max test, yeah. And I scored really, really high. I think one of the highest right at the gym, because I was already fairly fit.
Mate, you're a unit.
Yeah, and then British title was in sights for February, and first camp with Ben, and I couldn't believe how different it all was, but I embraced it and I trusted it, even though I didn't quite know what I was doing. But I trusted it, and went from there. Then obviously British, and then again I seen in the gym after that British title fight, I didn't go on a bender and get pissed and go on holiday. And I went back, got in the gym pretty much straight away, and was ticking over, thinking, right, I'm a bit older now. I want something else. I was looking at defences. Who can I defend against? And because I was in the gym, the phone rang for the world title shot.
Do it.
Why
wouldn't you?
6 weeks. 6 weeks notice. I was ticking over in the gym, and that kind of fell from the sky into my hands. And but I was ready.
Yeah.
And Ben's approach, Ben and Leigh's game plan, kind of just. It was like, you don't need to spar up for this fight. And I was thinking, fucking hell, this is my biggest fight to date. And he's telling me I don't need to spar a lot. And I was thinking, this can't be right. This kid's got the record for punches thrown per round. And
I was about to say, like,
crazy,
what was the mindset on that one?
The thing is, like, I'm not gonna try and match what he does good.
No.
You don't beat a fighter by doing what they do good by
You
trying
take
to
it away.
You don't think right. He punches hard, right? I need to punch harder. Or he throws a lot, I need to throw more. You don't beat a fighter like that. You think right. He throws a lot, I need to reduce his output.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. You know, Ben
nice.
came up with the game plan with Leigh Wiley. We drilled it, and if you watch the fight at times, it looked quite easy.
Yeah.
And bearing in mind, I wasn't that fit because
it's different, isn't it?
Exactly. It was more about doing the right things at the right time. And off winning the world title, the Conlan fight came about, which a lot of people only know me for. They don't know about the previous 12 years or 10 years of hell before that. But it's nice to be recognised and noted for something.
I think that's my favourite fight of the past decade.
Yeah,
I really do.
I get that a lot every day, even to this day. I still get that video shared off my Insta.
Obviously.
Yeah, there's like a rocky music behind it. It's got 4.5 million views or something now. It's crazy. It's still snowballing. But yeah, it was a good night in my own city.
Massive night.
Yeah,
massive night. You had Teddy Atlas reaching out to try and get you on the pod. Like, what higher praise is there than the Caesar himself?
Yeah.
Like, he was just reaming about you. Should we just?
So that's kind of what changed in my career. You know, I made the moves, and it was.
Obviously,
can you still hear me?
These
Yeah?
are my personal gardeners that you can hear in the background. Yeah, I mean, what I do, like as you can see, it's a car park outside. They don't even need to be doing that. I just have them just do that. He's trying to cut the tarmac.
You're showing off, aren't you?
You know what I mean?
He's using an electric tool to
What
trim
a
some
flex.
rose
You think
bushes.
these are flats? These are just rooms to my house, this. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, so
Continue.
that's basically how it all came about, and some story, and it's not over yet. You know, this is the end of the road for me. I've got some big fights left. Starting on 27th of May.
Well, you've just looked better and better and better in every fight.
Yeah.
Like, and you're one of the fighters that show that you get better. So if you've already reached this level with the opportunities you've had in the last what year is it? Like 5 years.
Well, even 3 years,
3
really.
years, really. Because you say what was it, COVID, which was 2020. Yeah, it's something like the 3 year period. So not all fighters are that.
I was talking to my friend the other day. This is quite funny. So I was seeing this bird.
Yeah.
I was seeing this bird when I was like 31, and we fell out. I stopped seeing each other. And I remember she messaged you something nasty, something along the lines of like, you know,
How rude.
you're 31, like you still live with your mum, you blah blah blah. You got, and in my head, and in my head, I was thinking, yeah, but I'm about to smash it, but I didn't at the time. She probably thought no one would have thought I would have.
Did you not just message your bag and say,
No,
how
I
much
didn't.
of a mug are you? Because I've left it in on you.
I didn't reply to it. Like
I've dropped a heavy load on you, babe.
So anyway, I left that, and then to think like, looking from hindsight, someone even from boxing looking in, thinking, yeah, she's probably right. Like he's gonna do fuck all. And then in the next 2 or 3 years, you know, I've been in the biggest fights, had the biggest wins, and secured my future financially. I'm not done. I'm not done yet either. So.
That's actually what I was going to say. Are you now at the stage where, you know, obviously it's never enough, right? In every aspect of life, but you're secure financially now. Hopefully, you can now fight for fight's sake, which is the best position to be in because you get more cash from that anyway, right? When you get to that stage,
obviously,
You probably set yourself up better for fight.
yeah. I've always been good with money. I've always made like smart investments, and since I've been making more money, I've not gone crazy and blew it on.
Have you considered putting money in our Patreon? Patreon.com/fighting words. It's a good investment.
Well, I would chat after you.
£2 a month.
God, it sounds like an appeal, doesn't it? For £2 a month.
£2 a month. These days.
Yeah, I mean, if I walked away from boxing today, I won't have to work. You know, I'd be all right. I've made some smart investments. But at the same time, you know, everything for me going forward is for my kids and set up their future. And the rest of my family, I want to help. I want to help as many people as I can, not just help myself. So, you know, I've got a massive family, so I've got a lot of big fights to win.
Your aunt and I follow each other.
Yeah.
Sue, shout out.
Yes, and my aunt Sue, she's doing really well, isn't it? She's got a great career, and she sorts all my tickets and that. So, yeah, she's on the ball with it. She's very organised. It's unbelievable how organised she is. So, yeah, thanks to my aunt Sue if you're watching. But I've got a lot of aunties and a lot of people behind the scenes that have always helped me out, always do a lot for me. Aunt Chalice and Aunt Cheddar. And I've got such a wide family group that I'm so close with as well. So yeah,
I like that.
It's a family's massive for me. So
yeah. I mean, and to be fair, you kind of have that down here now with the BD guys as well, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you go down there, John? Johnny Fisher's sitting in the corner while we're doing this. You never been down there? Yeah.
Fabi's,
TKV down there.
Yeah, they're all very good.
Yeah.
I've got a Lois as well. He's a handful. No one wants to
Aloy's an
spy him.
animal, innit?
No one wants to spy him, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah, he is. He is.
I
But,
messaged him about doing the pod. I said, "Do you want to do it?" And he's like, "Not on Zoom. I'd come in person." I was like, "All right." We've never spoken or met before, but fine. Come into my house. My kids ain't here. Don't worry.
Yeah,
He's an animal.
He's an animal. They're all doing great things in boxing. I can see it. You know, Fabio is doing amazing. TKV, you know, he's coming through. Aloys, you got Royce and Bonnet. Such a great group of lads. Got the twins, the Olympians, Pat and Luke, absolutely mental, but really, really talented.
Yeah.
Leigh McGregor looking for a fight to come, another fight, a title fight hopefully coming up. He's had a bit of bad luck recently. Shabazz Masood, he's so talented. Yeah. Our gym, like, when they get the opportunities, you're gonna see him shine.
I mean, and this is it. You're only ever gonna improve with that level of stuff going in there, as well as the level of fighter is going up with the world champions and stuff like that. The attraction of the other like elite auxiliary staffs, the SNCs, the this and that, you have it already, but people get attracted to like try and help and try and give you some more, right? Yeah,
for sure. And I try not to bang on about Ben and Leigh too much, and Barry plays his part, just because like I don't want the gym flooded.
Yeah,
we get time shared as it is.
Yeah,
and in a few years, I don't know how many years, but it might not be that long. It might be a few years down the line. But people look back and go, do you know what? Ben, coming through them, why did we not look at him and realise how good he is, of coach he is? And his success and his the wins that he get over the line over the next few years, people are going to take note and say, they're going to want to come here. And the longer that is, the better. Hopefully, I'm retired by the time people realise and don't flood the gym. But honestly, like I can't explain how good he is. Him and Leigh as well, together, like unbelievable. If you look at my success just alone, from the level I've come from to there, and the only reason is obviously a lot of hard work on my part. I have to put the work in, but the game plans and the instructions,
that's what it is. It's always been in you. You've always had that.
Yeah, in the right directions. Yeah, it's very easy to work hard.
I've always worked as hard as I can. I've always trained. I've always gave everything I've got for every fight. But if you're putting all that work in the wrong direction, it's a waste of time.
Yeah,
you know, they've directed me, show me what I need to do. There's a lot more to boxing than throwing punches, and a lot of people don't realise that yet.
Sure. What you were saying a minute ago about Ben, so I think most boxing fans at the beginning were a little bit off on
Me
Ben.
too.
This is it, right?
Before
this
I
geezer come out of nowhere, and he's with Tyson Fury. And you're like, okay. And, you know, Tyson Fury's dad's mugging him off and all this other stuff. And you're like, all right, fine. But, you know, John is what it is. With that, this studio was completely divided on your last fight, okay? For me, right decision. At the moment, I understand you were there in the sense you was on your feet. But for him to jump up like that and stop it, that showed to me a lot of care. You're always going to say I could have gone on. Jesse on the other side was like, that was an early one.
Yeah.
A few months later, now we've got the rematch locked and loaded. Are you at peace with the decision, not what happened?
Yeah, for sure, because no matter what, I can't change that decision.
No.
Yeah. So I'm going to be angry at it. Well, I'm going to be angry at myself for getting caught with it, which I am, because it was a stupid mistake to make, holding my feet, thinking that he was gassing. Now I'm trying to finish him. Like, I just had to keep doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
But on the decision Ben made, like, he knew I had the rematch clause.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got up too fast, but at the same time, when I got dropped by Conlon, I was eating shots for 4 rounds.
Yeah.
I can't be eating shots off him for 4 rounds.
No.
But if that would have been a bit of a nasty knockout, would the rematch have happened? Who knows, you know? That's the thing, you know. But as a fighter, I would always carry on. Like, if I had one eye, one leg, one or whatever, I'd be like, send me back out. I'd rather go out on my back than say, like, look at the Conlon fight, you know. There's no way I got to quit him, man, regardless of what happens. So I'm always going to say, why are you throwing the towel in? You should be sitting on that towel, because I do not want that towel coming in no matter what. Exactly. And in my head, I'd have pulled it around. I'd have held it. I'd have dug down. I'd have got through it. But from that side point of view, someone that's looking after me, that's his job to look after me. He did the right call. I think he did the right thing looking back. And I'm going to go put it right. And if it not gone that way, who knows if I had the opportunity to put it right.
This is it, right? And it's incredibly, as patronising as it sounds, incredibly mature for you to see it. Because, like, let's be honest, something you worked your whole life for, and the fucking fight before, like, absolute just war. Again, I stand for it. He did the right thing. You got the rematch, like we said.
And at the same time,
And
there's
care.
the controversy is like, would I have been alright? Would I have not? And people want to see that, and like,
Like, this
you
was
know,
my
he might
argument.
have spunked his load. He might have come out trying to knock me out and missed and gassed, and
And
I'd
you could
have
have caught
chinned
him,
him.
right?
But we don't know yet. But what we're gonna know is how it goes in the rematch.
Yeah.
And people are gonna tune in back in to see what's gonna happen. Hopefully, see me get my belt back. And you know, it's all there now because it's made this fight, the rematch, bigger.
100%.
What about for you when you get your belts back? What do you want to? What's the ideal sort of trajectory post your victory coming up?
You know, I don't want to keep boxing for too long. Like,
How old are you now? You're 33?
I'm 34. I'm 35 in August, so you know, I'm the tail end of my career. I've probably got another 3 fights left. So
Great head of hair, though.
yeah, in my head, you know, when this fight, I get my belt back, I've got a lot of options, and if I could pick, then I'd love to do the Conlon rematch if he could pick up a world title, which he's got the opportunity to on the same night.
Great.
But you know, there's probably a rematch clause there because he didn't have to fight Conlon, so you know, I'm not sure how that's going to play out. But if we both win, I could fight Warrington in the middle. He could get his rematch, and then maybe if it all lines up, the Conlon rematch for my last fight would be ideal for 2 belts on the line. But yeah, we'll see how things go. You know, that would be ideal. But
Are you two
first
spoken
thing
since?
is, briefly, we bumped into each other a few times. It's like when we see each other, we look at each other, and it's still like
Is it like
a
two pistols
competitive-
attached?
a competitive look. Like looking at each other, like it is like that.
Yeah.
It is like we're looking at each other, thinking, I want to do you, you're doing me. Like that's
Yeah.
probably, but we're looking at each other like as in like we're about to fight, or we're
Yeah.
not about to fight nasty, but like we're about to compete.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like
The
competitive
edge is
look.
still there. There's still
For sure, and it'll always be there.
Yeah,
always.
fact.
And
It's the way with good rivalries, isn't it? Like,
and I'd love to beat him again. So
I mean, the thing is with him as well, he's like 3 or 4 good fighters in one, right?
It's a
and
great
he's
fighter.
sitting there probably thinking, well, no, like overall he's a great fighter, but like he's got 3 or 4 styles that he does very, very well, and he's very good at switching between them. He's a complicated fighter, and the fact that you punched him out the ring in the final round he must wake up at night haunted by it.
because you think about what you said earlier about like the amount of times that you've been shared the clips of that fight. In the reverse of it, he probably has the same.
He
doesn't
must
And
be.
just
I'm
must be
sick of it. So
infuriating constantly.
I'm sick of it. He must be sick of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
massive.
Literally. You know,
Vitamin
it's-
J is saying something about
Talking to your mic.
I'm talking into my mic. You can't hear me?
Not properly.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Apparently this podcast is all about you, is it?
should we get him
You
on?
know what I
Should we
mean?
get him on?
I'm just
Jesus.
gutted. I'm going to have to watch 3 more Leigh fights. My nerves are going to go crazy.
Yeah, that's what it is. He's getting, I tell you what, he is
And I love
the
it.
single most
love
nervous
it.
human of all time. I have to take narcotics.
It's
when you fight.
actually
Like, this is
harder.
how I have to do
It
it.
is harder for
It is.
to
For-
watch
for
a
friends
friend's
and
fight
family
than
to
for
watch,
someone to
yeah.
go through the fight. One of my friends' fight when Leigh used to box, like, whoa, it was horrible. It was like worse than when I fight. It's like I'm not even like bothered. Nerves, like you get nerves to like you want to perform, you want to make sure you're on your A game, but you
Yeah.
don't get nerves of the fight. But when it's someone else, it's out of your control, it's out of your hands. It is the worst
And the
feeling.
worst case scenario starts rolling through your head constantly.
Yeah, it's horrible, and you just you're riding the punches outside the ring, and yeah, it's not nice. So I feel for you, all of you.
Let your kids box.
Nah,
Not even non-negotiable.
Not that-
you ain't doing it.
not that I wouldn't let him, but
You won't want them to.
I don't want him to. If he wants to, like my lad's only young, he's only 3, but if he pursues boxing, I'm not going to give him any help whatsoever because
You're going down the front route.
it's something that like if you want to do it, you need to do it for you, not for me because I did it.
Yeah.
Or you want to because when I was a kid and I started boxing, it just grabbed me and I just loved it and I was obsessed with it and I just
Yeah.
wanted to get better and I loved how hard it was, everything about it. And it just I can't even explain it. Just my passion. Luckily, I feel lucky that's one thing I am. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're so lucky. I love to be you." Come do a week with me and we see how lucky I am. But
Yeah.
I do feel lucky that I found my passion because some people don't do that.
Yep.
That's the only thing I feel lucky about because I've had that direction since I was 12 years old. I just knew exactly what I wanted to do, with the rest of my life, pretty much.
Are you saying potentially me
So-
going back to working in an office and not following my passion?
If that's your passion, that's your passion. But
I don't think it's anyone's passion.
I don't think that it could be my lad's passion. I'm not saying it won't be, but he may just think my dad box. Maybe that's what I'm good at. It's not something that I want him to do. It's something I love to do and kind of had to do because I couldn't really do much else. I was terrible at football. But if he chooses boxing, and I'll sit back and think, let's see if he really does like boxing and see how far he gets on his own and see how much he wants it. If he pursues it and is dedicated, when he gets to that stage where I feel like he's getting everything, is doing everything he can do and he's got to a reasonable level and he just want it and it's not just because I did it, then I'll help him.
It's also like what you just said, where it's like, you know that a lot of fighters need it. And if you come across someone that needs it and you're only doing it because someone else kind of wanted you to do it, there's an edge that's very hard to overcome with that, isn't there? So
Yeah, and when I was a kid, I always remember there was lads coming in the gym, the dads brought them. They didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
You can tell they didn't. But some of them did all right, and they won a
might
few
have
bits and
skills,
bobs.
but
Yeah,
like-
and then but when it really came to crunch time, the dads were bringing him in. They all died off by the time they got to the teens. They're not one bothered. They didn't want it. Like, and some of them was better than me at some points. But when they kept coming back in, and I got better. When eventually I got better, and they was like, forget this. When they're on the top, like they're all right. When they're winning, and they're a bit better than someone, a bit more experienced. But when it became to that point where it was a level playing field, and it's like fairly even 1v1, then it's like, nah, I don't really like this. I mean, and that happened loads of times throughout my career, like coming through. Loads of kids come and go. When they was better than me at first or heavier than me, and then as I got better, just keep chipping away. Eventually, we had 50 spars, and it was gone. Crazy.
Say, now you're at the stage now where you probably never thought you would be. Are you turning into a bit of like a sage of the gym? Are the kids like Leigh's world champion? He's come up probably the hardest way of any champ that we've seen for a very long time. I need to ask his advice on stuff. Or are they just like, bruv, can I get a selfie with you still?
No, sometimes.
Why aren't you accepting my invite to collab?
I do bang on to some of the lads, even in Ben's gym, you know. I say you need to do these things. If you like, being good enough isn't enough.
No.
Being skillful, being a good fighter, that's not good enough. You need to live right. You need to sleep right. You need to eat right. You need to do everything you can do, because if you do all them things, then you've got a chance to make it. If you don't do them things, you can pretty much promise you won't make it. But if you're a good fighter and you do them things, then there's a chance. Because boxing's hard.
Yeah.
You need a little bit of luck, but you need to be so dedicated. You need to be relentless. You need to be so many things. The main thing, you need to be headstrong. But if you're doing them things and you're not living right, you're going out and you're not sleeping, and you're taking turbos off your engine, and you need them, and especially when you get to that certain level, past British title level. So I bang on to all the lads in the gym about it all the time. Probably sick of me talking about it, but
No, I think they need
constantly,
to hear it,
constantly. Just
because it's hard as it is, like say, like, and then you take on top of like the early route of the pro career where you're working a job, 2 jobs, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna have to train, and then you've got to sell your tickets. And
a prime example is Conor. Right, he was world amateur champion, and he's lost to me, and I wasn't expected to win. I've come up the hard way. Like, he probably does everything right, and he was a close fight, and I beat him. So like, if you're not doing everything right and you're in that kind of fight, you're not gonna win. And he did everything right and still come up short. So, you know, which brings me back to the other thing. You know, there's more to boxing than punches and the game plan. And I don't give too much away because it'll be a rematch. But yeah, you know, you need to do everything right. You need to live right. Mindset is probably the most important thing, because when I say mindset, like, I don't just mean like being dedicated, but like being disciplined. When I years and years, my friends will go out on a night out, my friends will go on holiday, and I'm like, oh, fucking, I'm missing out here. I wish I could. And like, I've booked holidays, and then something's come up, and I've been picked to boxing, and even as an amateur, I'll be like, I can't go away, lad, sorry. And I'll do that, and then so many times Christmas is cancelled, but I'm not moaning about it, because I've made the right decision. I've always wanted to do what I wanted to do, and I'd make the same decisions again. But what I do say to them lads is, I made these sacrifices, and it paid off. Like, you need to make these sacrifices, but
That's mad.
you don't want to preach too much, do you? But you know what it's like.
I think now we're in an era where we've maybe got a very high profile one sitting over there on the corner, who understands the socials. He understands all of the stuff.
That's a bigger part of boxing as well now.
This
Yeah.
is it. This probably wasn't even that much of a thing when you started.
Yeah.
It is now, but then like there's always the divide, isn't there, between the guys that are massive on socials, constantly pumping it out, tweeting all the time. Like, who has the time?
It's a numbers game, innit? It's a numbers game, regardless of where the numbers come from. Even like you got the DAZN doing this different series now, they're just getting the numbers, and you got girls coming from OnlyFans, they got big numbers, and you got fighters coming from reality TV shows, Tommy Fury, and
I wanted to ask you about starting an OnlyFans.
we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
I'm all for the numbers.
it's all about the numbers, isn't it? I think OnlyFans is about to go under. I think we need to move to another platform.
Yeah,
Maybe start our own. Jake, what are you thinking?
I think there's a gap in the market because I know OnlyFans are trying to do it like training and paying for subscriptions to watch.
I don't want to see it.
But I think there's a
Like
gap in the
24/7
market.
kind of thing.
There's a gap in the market for coaches, especially to do something along them lines, and fighters to show how they live, really. Because a lot of fighters, they put glimpses up because they don't want anyone to know exactly what they're doing. But some fighters, if they're getting paid, they will show what they do day in, day out. And other fighters coming through, especially at lower levels or amateurs, will pay a subscription to see exactly what they're doing, exactly what they're eating, exactly when they're resting, training. And it might be beneficial for them.
Maybe, but also when it comes to OnlyFans, I want to see tits. I don't want to see pad work unless it's topless.
I've never subscribed to OnlyFans, you know, ever.
No, neither have I.
It
just seems irrelevant.
I've never tried out.
I mean, I just want to be very
It
clear.
would be like paying for Babe Station or something.
Yeah,
like that. Like, why
there's
would you do
a
that?
lot of content on the internet for free. Why am I? I'm not dedicated to
And
someone
there's real
enough for
people
that.
out there. There's a lot of them as well.
Yeah, I think anyone that subs to an OnlyFans has got. Yeah, I think they may be on the verge of stalking. Anywho,
There's a lot of shady characters about in there.
Yeah.
A lot of them asking for certain things of fee, and I don't get it. But there's a lot of. We're talking about a massive percentage of the population. We're not talking about.
It's not just like 1%.
The minority. We're talking about a huge.
the majority.
That these girls are making careers off sending pictures of the fees. I can't get my head around it. But you know, if they're making money off it,
Yeah,
fair,
respect.
fair
Respect to
play,
them.
fair play.
They just have to do that. Snap. There you go. There's
Yeah.
there's $500,000.
But
I'd
if
do
I
it
ever
if I
caught my
could.
daughter taking pictures of her feet, the phone would be gone. So
As long as it's just the
When
fee,
she's older,
and as long
obviously.
as she's 21 and up.
As long as the training's still on.
Yeah, mate, I've got daughters
crazy.
as well. It's terrifying, isn't
it
it?
is the age that we're in.
Yeah.
With the internet and that, and you know, my daughter's only young at the minute, but I've got it all to come, and it's gonna. I'm petrified, to be honest.
Just wait till you have to lock down a Roblox membership because people start messaging. You're like, oh mate, what is your problem, you weirdos?
Yeah,
You're on that happy.
I'm not looking
note.
forward to it. I'll end up doing a stretch in prison, and I will. So need to just.
You don't need that, Lee. You definitely don't need that.
For sure.
With obviously the rematch, smash out all the details because in case some people just like to watch Jesse because he's man bum.
Yeah, so we've got an away day in Manchester Arena.
Why was it Manchester?
Just because Nottingham
just
Arena
had the
wasn't available, DAZN had that date. I needed to basically have that date, or was going to give it someone else. But there was never an option for me, and I wanted it as soon as possible anyway. In my head, I was thinking, right, May or June, I want it, and end of May, perfect timing. So 27th of May, Manchester Arena. Got a massive Nottingham crowd going already. Got a few coaches on, and a lot of people book hotels and that. So
I love that.
it's going to be a good night
Love that.
for sure. 5 weeks on Saturday.
We're going to be streaming for it. We're going to be.
Hope that's not messed up your podcast. I don't know when you're going to post it, but
What's that? No, it's fine. No, it's going to be. It's going to be well before.
oh, cool.
It's going to be well before. I'm going to leave that there, mate. Thank you so much for coming. I don't want to keep
Thanks
you
for
too
joining
long,
us,
'cause
Leigh.
obviously,
Cheers, lads.
mate.
Stuff, mate.
Good meet.
Patreon.com fighting words. Help the boys. Support Leigh. 27th of May, Manchester Arena. Let's go.
Walks away with his belts.
For sure. Let's have it.
And the new.